Oh yeah, that felt like some really good karma. Hello, welcome back to the James Ram Reviews Vietnam. So today's episode, I am actually a lot more excited, a lot more interested and energetic for this one because today I'm going to be reviewing for you a movie in the Nepalese language called Karma, starring Bipin Karki, and if there's some Nepalese people watching this video and I mispronounce it, let me know. But so this movie, it is actually one of the most recent Indian films I watched at the cinema. I'll go through my theatrical experience. It definitely was a bit different to my experience with, Arjun son of Vijay, but I still kind of had a good time here. So without spoiling, obviously, I will just give you, I don't need to give you a bit of context. Because that at this point, I like to go to the cinema and watch Indian movies and watch kind of different types of films at the cinema, really. So what this movie is all about is, I did watch the trailer. It looked like it was going to be like a action movie where there's a lot of stuff happening, but if you want to know the bare bones basics plot of this movie, what you have here is you have a guy called Karma. There's something going on in this jungle. There's a threat out there. There's somebody that needs to be protected. There's a bad guy on the loose, and the bad guy, it's all of this stuff where you try and figure out the twist and the turns and the reveals that come along with the film, and you got that. So, but I think it was about almost 2.5 hours, whatever. And so there was definitely all of that. So let's just start off with saying that this movie is some of the best karma I've had in my life, because I actually needed this film. And I will say that, this wasn't a packed audience because it was actually the second, release date of the movie. I went to see it because it came out on Sunday, but I went to see Sinners on Sunday, so I ended up seeing it Monday night, last night at a 7 o'clock showing. It was just me and an old Indian guy in the cinema. So you could say, maybe some of the big action scenes or the big comedic bits do play differently when it's not a very big, busy cinema. And yeah, to an extent that is a thing, but I still got a lot of enjoyment out of this movie. I think Bipin Karki, right, he really does deliver this passionate performance, and he really gives it his all in this movie, and I just feel like this tells a really simple story. It has a lot of setup and build up, and there's a lot of tension, and it was just really cool how they crafted the action sequences and how they crafted some of the cinematography here. Like, for example, right, the trailer, I remember watching the trailer, I couldn't really understand the trailer because the subtitles just said foreign speak, but they really gave you a lot of time to invest in these characters, and you just really felt for Karma, the character, because he was going through a lot, like, scenes where he's in jail and stuff like that, so there's a lot going on for him. And then his life starts to get better. Obviously, once he meets a girl, right? But once he starts to figure out the bad guy's plan, and we won't spoil how it all pans out, right? But once he starts to figure out the bad guy's plan, he fuses his own ways to do it, right? And see some of these action scenes. It isn't like hundreds of guys, flying all across the, the screen. I think it was about 10 people in a fight scene, and it was just really cool how one of the guys' bodies just flipped around like this. And they just did a lot of that for me, where it was just absolutely fun to see that. There wasn't a lot of dance numbers, however. The way they used the dance numbers is you just had to suspend your disbelief with it and just kind of use your imagination, because they were just dancing and singing, but they didn't want to show you the lyrics. It was an interesting one, and there'd be scenes where they censor out people smoking and drinking and stuff like that, because obviously with Indian culture, right, they're all about being religious and being true to God. So I found that quite an interesting bit throughout the movie, especially as an Indian film where they can just go absolutely bonkers and just break every rule and boundary, but they just censored some of the things. I thought that was an interesting choice, and I'm not going to say this was better than Arjun son of Vijay, because obviously that was a bigger, more explosive movie experience, but it gets the job done. I really did enjoy the last musical piece where I was like, karma, 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 Karma. Right, we won't sing the whole thing in case I get, copy struck down, but I will link the music video down below because you definitely got to go watch that. It is a fun music video. It's a catchy tune and it just really uplifts your mood. The movie was just really entertaining. I probably would give this one a 7 out of 10. If you watch this on Netflix or any of the streaming platforms, that's not a bad idea. Especially for me because I didn't have the explosive, experience. But I still think it was a really good way to pass the time. And the movie it made, actually, I looked this up, right? The movie made about, was it 2 million, Nepali rupees, which is really good for the Nepalese, right? And that Nepal, sorry, for the Nepalese population and just the nation of Nepal, that is really good. But if you just consider that and the money that I use in my country, yeah, not a lot of money, but it's not bad for the country that it's in. And so honestly, definitely recommend the film. 7 out of 10. I definitely just really enjoyed this movie. It really brought something different to the table, and I just liked how they used the action. The trailer was like, there's gonna be so much action, but what I really liked about the trailer was they actually added random scenes about the movie, just vague, plot details. Even though I couldn't actually get the subtitles, it just said foreign speak. Just a lot of subtle details, and then the movie decides to kind of turn itself into something I wasn't expecting while delivering what I wanted. So yeah, that's my review of Karma Nepali, and in Nepalese. This is one of my, I think this is my first Nepalese Indian movie review. So if you want me to review more movies by Bipin Karki or any more Nepal based movies from that kind of part of the world, definitely comment down below, because I just cannot stop this, man. These movies just have something to them that you just cannot get in a Hollywood production. So yeah, bye. Karma, 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 karma. Such a good piece of karma this movie was. Oh yeah.